Let's get into it. So, in the table of content, like what is included in this video is more on Copilot for Microsoft 365, getting ready guidance, deliver impact, onboarding and engaging, extend and optimization. So we're going to be looking more of that. Another thing that you're going to be looking on in this video um, is the journey to becoming an AI powered organization. So the technical skills and more about responsible AI principles. So the technical skills, how to build and iterate technical skills to deliver on business results, provide access to training and expert, manage and mitigate risk, improve service management process. We're also going to be looking on Copilot for Microsoft 365 implementation, and here we're going to be addressing the looking at the user enablement, and it includes like how to prepare organizations and employees for AI transformation journey. The technical readiness includes how to address technical deployment and optimization, including governance, security, compliance, and management. So this is all about the leadership journey. So essential for Copilot success, um, as you can see from this slide, is nominate and activate your Copilot executive sponsors. Um, Accelerate your business impact by defining highest value scenario. Define your path to secure your data for compliance and peace of mind. So just a reminder, I'm not in any way affiliated with Microsoft for that case, and this video is just for educational purposes. And I'm going to drop a link to some useful article that can help you, so you can check it out also. So Copilot for Microsoft 365 implementation overview. Uh, on getting ready, we have some of the detailed information that you're going to be looking later on in the video. So I'm going to skip this slide for now. So the implementation project summary, and this is for the first 30 days, 30 to 60 days, and the recurring task that you're going to be having, and that includes like the purchase decision, complete fundamental learning, assemble team, share prioritization, prioritize scenarios, select and validate initial cohort, help desk, onboarding, review community management planning, launch training content and office hours. So this helps like you make the decision, and it's more of the entire process that is going to be involved before you purchase and after you purchase, and how you're going to prepare your team into onboarding to Copilot for Microsoft 365. So getting ready, so you're going to be looking on how to get ready for Copilot for Microsoft 365. So Uh, some of the things that you're going to be looking on include perform the Copilot for Microsoft 365 optimization assessment. And here, uh, the assessment is designed to understand your current licensing profile, your collaboration tools, sensitive data handling, and security control implemented today in your organization, helping you identify a clear path to deploy Copilot for Microsoft 365. And you're gonna have to understand the current licensing, understand of identity management, understand current collaboration tools, understand current data locations, and cover opportunities to implement data security measures and improve data security postures to optimize user experience with Copilot for Microsoft 365. Another thing is address security, governance, and data access questions. And in these, we're talking of access. You need to assess the IT professional admin resource for additional documentation to help address deeper questions you may have about Copilot for Microsoft 365. And such questions include, how does Copilot with commercial data protection, AI-powered chat for the web work? How is it different from Copilot for Microsoft 365? Is this AI-powered chat available for eligible Entra ID users and no additional charges? So here for Entra ID, if you're familiar with Microsoft Azure, then I think you're also familiar with Entra ID. So if you are uh, a Microsoft 365 architect, then I believe you understand the term Entra ID users. So how does Copilot for Microsoft 365 work? How does the semantic index work? Where does my data go? How do Copilot plugin and connectors work? What permission and policies should I think about to prepare? What is Microsoft Responsible AI commitment? And much more that you might be asking. Another thing in the Get Ready section is build Copilot for Microsoft 365 implementation plan. So what are such what is the implementation plan? And we're going to be looking at that. So when we are talking on building an implementation plan, we're talking about using the results of the optimization assessment and scenario discovery to develop a plan for implementation of Copilot for Microsoft 365. And some of the questions to help guide you through the entire process are all the gaps in the optimization assessment listed in the plan? Have you identified the first set of employees that will get Copilot for Microsoft 365? How many licenses will you need to purchase? Are there any data security questions that you need to address? Do all items have owners and due dates? Have you identified key adoption steps for the first set of priority scenario? I'm also going to share a link to my LinkedIn on how you're going to download all this as a document. So you're going to check it also in the description below. Copilot for Microsoft 365. So you're going to be moving to a different section here. And this section is on board and engage. So when you're talking about onboard and engage, we're talking on ensure appropriate data security control are in place. And here, uh, get started. I'm going to show you on how to get started quickly and continue to optimize along the way. And some of the licenses here, we have the core and best in class. So the core license is all about Microsoft 365 E3, Microsoft 365 Business Standard and Premium or higher, and an SPP SharePoint Advanced Management. So if you can check this on Microsoft website, some of the licensing that they do offer. So best in class is the license involve Microsoft 365 E5. I think that is the one that I have, and SPP SharePoint Advanced Management. So yeah, so that is it. So here are uh, the licenses that Microsoft offers. And we have the baseline, we have core, we have best in class, which might be good for advanced businesses or a team of many people. So restricted SharePoint search. This is intended as a temporary solution to give you time to review and audit site permission while implementing robust data security solutions for Microsoft Purview and content management with SharePoint Advanced Management. So this is just like a description, and restricted SharePoint search is designed for organizations particularly concerned about unintentional oversharing of content, and that's why you're going to be needing restricted SharePoint search. When enabled, Copilot experiences and organization-wide search are limited to a select set of SharePoint sites as well as individual users' files and content. So if we just look on the prerequisites here, available to tenants with Copilot for Microsoft 365 subscription, activation requires global tenant SharePoint admin rights. So from the admin center, you can assign these role. And yeah, so you need to be familiar with Azure for the person who's going to be responsible for that, because all the management is going to be done on Azure, uh, Microsoft Azure for that case. Getting started with Copilot for Microsoft 365. So this is just like the licensing activity, and you can see the the product like Copilot for Microsoft 365. We have another product which is Copilot with commercial data protection. We're not gonna be looking at that because yeah, it's gonna make the video go for so long. And we also have the same that continues here, Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Purview, um, but you're not going to be looking at that. You're going to skip this slide. So still on the same section, prepare your organization for Copilot for Microsoft 365 with setup guide. We're going to be diving deep into these and read out to the, the shared team. So deliver a readout on the prioritized activities for data security control based on the selected deployment path, validating users' cohorts prior to assignment of licenses. So onboard and engage setup guide. So use the new Microsoft 365 Copilot setup guide. It's a wizard-based experience in Microsoft 365 Admin Center to help prepare your organization for Copilot for Microsoft 365. So if you are a subscriber, you can um, get these documents when you go to your admin center for Microsoft 365 and check on Microsoft 365 Copilot setup guide, and yeah, you can download these documents that you're looking on, and once you go through it and you're confident on it, then you can make a decision whether to start using Copilot for Microsoft 365. So one thing that I like about Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 is the productivity. Like there's so many things that is going to be helping you with, and you're going to be looking that later on in the video on how how easy you can make you can ask Copilot to do something. And yeah, so deploy required apps. So to seamlessly integrate with Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365, you are required to deploy the following application for your user, and one of them is Word, another one is Excel, the other one is PowerPoint, and new Outlook for Windows. We're also talking of Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Exchange. So for the configured channel to use Copilot Microsoft 365, uh, apps must run on current channel or monthly enterprise channel, and there are some guys that can help you develop a list of users who will receive apps, map the users to the apps, deploy apps using the built-in admin tool um, in the admin center or customer preferred method. For additional information, yeah, I think there's also some videos that they've provided in this documentation that you can go ahead and check on how to deploy Microsoft 365 apps. So um, license your business users. So another thing is assigning license to the user. So based on the results of the optimization assessment and scenario discovery, the appropriate licenses need to be assigned to the select set of end users. So you're gonna need to be doing that. And for you to do that, you're gonna have like, it's just like some simple entries. And yeah, so you can go ahead and then assign the licenses to the users. And as you can see right over here, there is license your Microsoft Copilot for 365 users, assign license to your users or groups. So you can add you can add the licenses to existing users. You can also add the licenses to new users. So that's something cool about it. Um, Based on the adoption plan, develop a list of users who will receive the license first. A few data points to keep in mind. So, if you're an organization, basically, you're going to need to train a few users to start using it. And you're not going to be like bringing all members of the organization to start using the license. So, you're going to have to train a few first as you continue growing. And you're going to be looking on some of the users that are going to be taking the first, the set first of users. So analyze departments with the highest Microsoft 365 usage data. Based on that analysis, start enabling entire teams with marketing, sales, or HR. So, because to be honest, these are some of the people that mostly use Microsoft product. Uh, and use the scenario library to identify top use case and the key metrics you would like to improve in your functional area. So use the setup guide to assign required licenses to users or customers preferred method. You can assign and then assign licenses for users on the license page under the active usage page. So that's also another thing about it, that you can also assign and unassign licenses to users. So if you maybe discovered that you're assigning licenses to a set of users who are not like more productive with using Copilot from Microsoft 365, or maybe wrongly assigned the license to them, then you can assign that license. So you have like complete control over Copilot for Microsoft 365. So another thing that you're going to be looking on that is super cool is assign permission by role usage report. So let's dive into it. So the Copilot for Microsoft 365 usage report allows you to interpret how ready your organization is to adopt Copilot for Microsoft 365. The following role can say the report, global admin, exchange admin, SharePoint admin, reports reader, Teams admin, user experience access manager, um, and more are detailed in the documentation. And as you can see, if I hover right over here, there's a link that shows there's a link to the documentation. So, and that is the best thing of having these documentation. And you might be asking, will I be sharing this document in the description below? So basically I'll be sharing a link to my LinkedIn, and if you click on it, you're gonna be downloading these um, document. So develop a list of users who will have permission to read the Microsoft 365 Copilot usage report. Assign permission to the identified users. So there's so many useful links that are gonna help you or guide you through before making the decision whether the team or the organization will be using Copilot for Microsoft 365. Another section that you're going to be looking on, this is section 3, is deliver impact. So if you've been following along, yeah, so we are in a new section. And if we start with it, one of the things that you're going to be looking in this section is establish a service management plan. And when you're talking about that, establishing a service management plan empowers IT and user enablement teams to periodically review health and business value of the AI transformation journey. So AI is growing right now, and so many organizations are adopting the use case of AI. They're moving to AI. So you have to be part of AI. So conduct periodic assessment of governance, security, and user enablement practice. Identify opportunities for expansions and further optimization of key Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 user experience. And in the documentation, there are so many links, useful links, and one of them is how to join Copilot community and connect with experts and community members. Participate in Copilot, ask Microsoft um, experts on any question that you might be asking. So, in the service health review component, we are talking about risk. Uh, we're talking about uh, risk mitigation. We're talking about performance. We're talking about feedback analysis. We're talking about incident review. We're talking about success stories. We're talking about roadmap planning, etc. and etc. The next slide is shared deliverables, service health reviews. So, a service health review is a systematic process of evaluating the current state and future needs of IT service in an organization. And the purpose of an a service health review is to identify the strengths and weaknesses of an of IT services. In this case, Copilot implementation, as well as the opportunities and threats that may affect their delivery and value. So, the service health review provides recommendations for improving IT services, service management, governance, user enablement, and alignment with business goals. Also, in the service health review, a transparent and collaborative partnership between business leaders, user enablement specialists, and IT professions is required. And some of the recommended practices include service health review is the Copilot success owner, conducted monthly, moving to quarterly once onboarding cohorts are complete, blah blah blah. And we also have includes service feedback and top issues from user enablement stuff. And yeah, so for the service health review are opportunities for leadership skills, skill building, and it also provides data for AI council review and so much more. So in this same section, which is deliver impact, we're going to be looking on analyze usage reports. And when you're talking about analyze usage reports, we're talking of interpret the Microsoft 365 Admin Center usage report. And once you log into your Admin Center, as you can see, there's all these that like there's this in this slide. You can see how um, there's like a small, like a brief, a short tutorial that actually explains that. And if you're an admin, you can go ahead and check it out. So, and yeah, so it's gonna help you with the readiness that you need. So you can view a summary of Copilot for Microsoft 365 adoption with visibility into users' last Copilot for Microsoft 365 activity. Also, interpret the readiness section by analyzing assigned and available Copilot licenses, how many users are technically eligible, and how many are in a strong position to get value from Copilot for Microsoft 365. So if you do recall, while I was talking about the uses, I was talking about sometimes you might decide like I might have assigned the wrong license to a specific user. So with Copilot, that's gonna help you make a decision on who are in the strong position to get value for Copilot for Microsoft 365. And another thing, if needed, you can export the report data into an Excel CSV file by selecting the export link. This export These export the Copilot for Microsoft 365 last activity data of all users and enables you identify um, report readers to do simple sorting, filtering, and searching for further analysis. And yeah, this is gonna help the organization in making a perfect and simplified decision. So there's so many cool things that you're gonna be looking on during the entire video, and I'm sure you're gonna be interested in them. So keep on watching and following along to the last slide. Another thing that we're going to be looking on is instruct users to access the Copilot dashboard in Teams or web app to analyze the tab, analyze readiness, adoption, and impact tab. So follow the instruction on the sentiment tab to deliver a survey to users. And yeah, so in the Impact tab, you assess Copilot impact by layering the results of Microsoft quantitative and qualitative research on top of your organization's Copilot and Microsoft 365 usage pattern. On the Adoption tab, you track user adoption trends per Microsoft 365 app and Copilot features. On Readiness tab, which are then provided, you assess your organization's overall readiness for Copilot rollout based on technical eligibility requirements and overall Microsoft 365 app usage. And on the sentiment tab, it provides information that helps you assess Copilot impact from users' perspective. So if you're an AI pioneer, then this video might be super interesting because to be honest, so many organizations right now are adapting to AI, and I think you need to be part of it. So if your organization is not part of it, then you need to be part of it because right now AI is something that most organizations are using. And if you are a Microsoft 365 subscription, you've bought any of their subscription, then yeah, you have access to the Microsoft admin and you have complete control. And in my previous video, there's a video that I did, and I'm gonna link it on the description below. And the description was more of how to get startup credits for your startup if it's less than 5 years. And in the video, I did explain why you need the platform credits. And for those platform credits, would you believe it? Would you believe if I told you they're going to help you get a free subscription for Microsoft 365? I'm also going to drop a link in the video description, so you better check it out. In my next slide, we're going to be moving into the next section, and the section is extend and optimize. And here we're going to be talking about designing, building, and publishing plugins. We're going to be talking about how to build your own copilot. So you might be asking, I don't have a technical background. Am I going to be writing code to build my own copilot, or how is it going to work? So you're going to be checking out in the next like in the next slide for this video. So design, build, and publish plugins. So what do you mean you're talking about design, build, and publish plugins? So here, to enhance the Copilot for Microsoft 365 experience and cater to specific business requirement, you can create AI plugins. So these plugins serve as an extension, allowing you to customize Copilot for Microsoft 365 various scenarios. And here are different types of AI plugins you can create. So prompt plugins. So when you're talking about prompt plugin, something might be coming to your mind or something might be ringing in your mind, and that is like prompt engineering, especially if you're coming from a coding background. You might, yeah, you might understand that terminology. So, but when you're talking about prompt plugin, is utilize AI builder and natural language um, understanding to target specific workflow within your business. So these plugins generate content or extract insight based on user interaction with Copilot for Microsoft 365. And another thing that is number two is flow plugins. So Leverage Power automate flows to perform actions and retrieve data. So they enable seamless integration with external systems. And another thing is connector plugin, which allows you to access data from other systems using Power Platform connectors. Popular enterprise products like Salesforce, Zendesk, Mailchimp, and GitHub can be connected. So if you're a developer, then you might have heard of GitHub. And if you come from a sales department, you might be familiar with Salesforce and Zendesk. And yeah, if you're a system admin, then I think you might be familiar with also Mailchimp. And also, if yeah, you are a sales profession, you might be familiar with Mailchimp. Another one is OpenAI plugin. So establish connection to custom OpenAI model that you create, enhancing Copilot for Microsoft 365 capabilities. So there's so many super cool things that Microsoft has done for Copilot, and I think this happened since the announcement with they announced partnership with OpenAI, which was super great. And I don't know when the partnership was announced, but when it was announced, it was a $5 billion whatever. So that was super cool, and yeah, we can see some great outcome from their partnership. And yeah, so there's so many things that are included in this video, and that helps you determine the path forward for extensibility with the kind of decision that you're going to be making. And right over here, there's a decision guide. And if we hover right over it, yeah, there's a link for that. So as you can see, there's a link to help you on how on making a decision. So you can go ahead and check some of these useful documentation. So if we move to the next slide, we're going to be talking on how to build your own copilot. So are you going to be writing codes? So that is the question. So you're going to be looking on it in this next slide. So just hold on there. And yeah. So Microsoft Copilot Studio for Microsoft 365. I can't actually tell how many times I've mentioned Microsoft 365, and I think that's the reason as to why you're going to be needing a subscription. And if you're a startup founder, I did a video on how to apply for Microsoft Startup Fund, so you can go ahead and check it out. And yeah, so as you can see, I think I I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna be talking about that in later on in the video. So Copilot Studio in a day. So half a day to 1 day hands-on workshop for subject matter experts and business users, covering the breadth of Copilot Studio. So the goal is for customers to have enough experience with the product to be able to understand the values and features currently in purview and how they could begin to use it. So understand how Copilot Studio works, differentiates from the competition, and become Copilot Studio advocates in their organization. So know what the next steps are to learn more about Copilot Studio and become part of the community. And right over here on my right, there is a sample gender right over here. And as you can see on it, we have the module ID name, length is like 30 minutes. We also have module 1, which includes like access and setup, and it's talking on it's like a 10-minute guide in length, and that is assess your tenant and purview. And you also have planning your copilot right over here. So plan copilot using the planning template from the bot building playbook, which is 40 minutes. We also have creating your copilot. So create your first topic, test and publish your copilot, which is actually up to 40 minutes. And I think it's also one of the longest. So authorizing AI, authorizing 101 in and find canvas. So author copilots using latest features in Copilot Studios, which is also 40 minutes. Using Power Automation connectors in Copilot Studios, which actually talks more of building power automate flows for your Copilot, which also take another extra 40 minutes. So, which is super cool. So, identifying participants, determining logistics for the day one event, ensure environment is set up and lab materials are ready before the event, confirm key scenario, check for latest connectors on Microsoft Power Platform and Partner Hub. So these are some of the key things that you're going to be, you know, more focused on before, building your own copilot. So, or even before thinking on whether you should, you know, lead the team into building the organization on Copilot. So, as we are winding up, we're going to be checking on Microsoft investment to accelerate your time to value. So, it's not like time of value, but time to value. So, Microsoft wants to ensure that they create value to their users. And customers that buy more than 150 Copilot seats are eligible for Microsoft Core investment in, yeah, I think I'm running out of battery, so I'm gonna be quick. Uh, Microsoft ensures that through their partnership, you get more value. So eligible customers can request technical and deployment assistance from Microsoft Fast Track. So in the get started on your Copilot journey with expert lead service through Microsoft Unified. So there's also like links to that. So yeah. Um, in the next slide, I think I'm gonna be quick because I'm running out of power. So Copilot resources on Microsoft adoption on site one site for all your Copilot needs. So right over here we have this website. You can go ahead and check it out, which is adoption.microsoft.com/copilot. So resources by roles, product announcement and news, links to all other Microsoft sites, extended links for small medium business, Copilot in sales, Microsoft Viva, and more. And right over here we have some great UIs that demonstrate, the like the accelerate AI journey with our Copilot success kit. So we have some great UI. So I also want to shout out a big thanks to the Microsoft team that prepared these slides, because it has like great animations, great, the UI looks so incredible. And at the start of the video, we had like the getting ready document guide, and here we are talking of the user experience strategy template, and that is like coming soon as it's listed right over here. So it's not yet ready. And we also have the video, which is on YouTube, and that is Copilot Experience Explained. So you can also check it out, and I'm going to drop a link in the description below. So we also have onboard and engage. We have also, and here we have courses, Copilot for Microsoft 365, user enablement specialist, and for the tools we have the Copilot Lab, and yeah, there's a link for that. Which include app specific guide, video. In the video, we're talking about creating a user experience strategy, which is not yet ready, and yeah, it's listed as coming soon. And in the deliver impact, we have courses, and one of the courses we have empower your workforce for Copilot, empower your workforce with Copilot for Microsoft 365 use case, and 7 business group use case for that case. We also have another course which is craft effective prompts for Copilot for Microsoft 365, which actually takes like 2 hours. And we also have an article which is learn about Copilot prompts. So yeah, they're like some so useful documentation that you can go ahead and check them out. So yes, and we're going to be moving to the next one, which is extend and optimize. And here we have craft effective prompts for Copilot for Microsoft 365, which take like 2 hours. Another course that we have is Optimize and Extend Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is like 1 hour. And I think the longest one is Create Copilot with Microsoft Copilot Studio, because that is like hands-on lab experience, and that is like a 4 hours course that you're going to be taking. So yeah, which I think is less compared to those long hours that are involved in like coding and so on, etc. and etc. If you are doing like kind of a frequent camp thing. Yeah, so the course, another course is Extend and Manage Microsoft Copilot Studio. And yeah, we're almost done because you're winding up. And here we are talking about Copilot for Microsoft 365 skilling experience. So Microsoft Copilot Academy. So they have an academy and you can go ahead and check it out. I'm also going to drop a link in the description. So centralized location to help with the basic of Copilot learning and upskilling, pulling the best content from available free Microsoft sources, structured content in easily consumable learning path, curated by Microsoft experts. Develop your AI interaction skills from your Viva Learning app in Teams or web app. So don't forget how to check out the academy, and I'm going to drop a link in the description below. So go ahead and check it out. So, and another one is Microsoft Learn. So you can, and here we have free on demand training content for skill development, step-by-step exercise guiding learning through common Copilot prompt and use case. So, and for the Copilot Lab, we have free locations to meet, learn about, and test the capabilities of Copilot. Improve your prompt engineering skills in an interactive hands-on environment. So I'm also going to drop a link to the Copilot Lab in the description below, so don't forget to check it out. Yeah, so I think they're useful links that I'm going to be dropping out. So please don't forget to check them out. And links to learn more. So there's so many useful links um, that that are more of documentation that can help. And you might be asking, what is Copilot? Introducing Copilot for Microsoft 365, the Copilot system. ChatGPT versus Copilot for Microsoft 365. What is the difference? And here, Microsoft actually has provided a whole new like article that you're going to be reading that's talks about ChatGPT versus Copilot for Microsoft 365. And my question though is, Copilot trained from like using ChatGPT. I'm not sure about that, so it's also a question that I think I might be doing some research on it, and how Copilot works. So how Copilot for Microsoft 365 works. Microsoft Mechanics video. So we also have the semantic indexing for Copilot. We also have Microsoft Graph connectors, and additional Copilot experience across Microsoft Cloud and Microsoft Dynamics 365. I think there's a link to the blog that explains more about that. Copilot in Power Platforms, and we also have like a blog that talks about that. Microsoft Security, Copilot, a blog that talks entirely about that. We have GitHub Copilot, and yeah, so the AI powered developer experience. So it's yeah, I GitHub Copilot X, um, you know, AI powered developer experience. So if you're a developer, I think you might be also interested in checking out that. So and Copilot in Microsoft Stream. So introducing Copilot in Microsoft Stream. So yeah, there are also other articles in these other section on my right hand side, and yeah, on the right, not my right hand side, yeah, on the right. So privacy, and here you might be concerned on how does Microsoft treat the users or maybe the customers' privacy. And we have some useful links. Microsoft privacy statement. How does Microsoft use your data? The trust-centered data protections and privacy. Data privacy security for Copilot for Microsoft 365. Data privacy and security for Azure OpenAI service. Role-based access control, user permission, customer look lookbox request, Microsoft 365 isolation control, data protection. Yeah, I'm I'm not gonna mention this term because I don't think if I'm gonna mention antonym, kind of a thing. And on the last slide that you're gonna be looking on is data residence and storage. And here you're talking about the EU data boundary, and we have website right over here that you can go ahead and check it out. So uh, EU EU is like the European, data boundary. So you might be asking like EU, yeah. So European data boundary. So we also have some blogs that you can go ahead and check it out that are talking more about that. We also have documentation that you can learn. And for the compliance, we have Microsoft Compliant, and they're provided like links to that you can go ahead and check them out. Service Trust Portal. And yeah, if you're an organization, some of these things are some of the fundamentals that you're going to be checking out and not ignoring. So this is it for this video. I've actually provided an entire blueprint on Copilot for Microsoft 365, how to prepare for it, and responsible AI that is in, like a responsible AI core principles. And I think we have checked on the entire like blueprint for Microsoft responsible AI standards. So, and how to onboard on Copilot for Microsoft 365. So the video was more entirely on the technical guide, which we have gone through from the first slide to the last slide. And yeah, so if you have gained some value from this video, then give it a thumbs up. And until my next video, peace.